There is a natural order, the way things are meant to be. An order that says that the good guys always win, that you die when it's your time or you have it coming, that the ending is always happy, if only for someone else.
Old or something, we were living in a pretty rough neighborhood in Oceanside, and so I started getting tattooed at 16, and it was kind of along those lines, Old English across the back, smile now, cry later type stuff. So that was my first introduction to tattooing.
15, 16 years old, we were designing ads my mom had a PC, we're designing ads and doing t-shirts, having no idea what we're doing, but just being creative. He is a person that really has never been given anything.
Part of my motivation comes from my history and my past of being real poor and growing up poor. I'm motivated every day to work really hard to make an honest living and a good living. Someone actually told me once what they thought my style was, and I really liked it. It was a traditional gangster. I kind of grew up around gangsters and had some respect for the street.
I think Oceanside's unique because it's very multicultural. You know, a lot of gangs and a lot of tough people always hanging out.
When you're like junior and senior in high school, you're already getting tattooed to be like, you know, to show that you're like a grown man and that you're like ready to move on in the world, you know?
Being, 14, 15 years old, waiting to get picked up could be scary, you know, so you kind of have to posture up and not look weak.
Tattooing in the West Coast has a lot of culture because of all the Navy and all the bases. San Diego's a big military Navy town. A lot of old tattooers have worked here. A lot of famous old tattooers have set up shop here. Lucky's tattoo parlor itself in San Diego was one of the only shops around that had all hand-painted flash all over the walls. So it was just really impressive. So as a young kid, going in there, I'd pick anything out of the wall, and it was original and it was hand-painted by the owner. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty cool. All the gangsters were getting cool tattoos. The Virgin Mary is real big on the back, the chest, intense, gnarly imagery. So the Mexican culture, especially in San Diego, is very important and has influenced it greatly. There's a merge now between tattoo craftsmen, the old guys with the old mentality, and now there's this new influx of graphic designers, graffiti artists, and artists that have kind of tried to merge into tattooing.
In the 70s and 80s, some people really tried to legitimize tattooing because it was looked upon so badly.
A lot of the old stigma is slowly fading away.
In 1992, I was tattooing bikers and sailors, and now I'm tattooing soccer moms.
A lot of it is coming from a different place where it's more of an art form now and not just a craft, which is where the growing pains hurt from the old school guys.
I'm gonna be the old bummer tattoo guy. I'm gonna be the same dude that tattooed me when I was a kid. Just salty old shitter that scared the fuck out of little kids with a big beard. I'm like, that guy.
I say good morning to the marathon miles of the movements. The day just begun. Watch the cruise ship blueprints. The more ages still, the more I see it translucent. Most that stress is stupid, simple and foolish.
We were both like working really hard, and I'm struggling as a chef and he's struggling doing his tattoo thing and working, and then that was when he got tapped on the shoulder to go out to Miami Ink.
The year and a half that I spent living and working at Miami Ink helped grow my tattooing. I got to work with, Chris Garver and my good friend Morgan Pennypacker and, Ami James and all these guys. They've influenced my tattooing greatly. Seeing a different style is always so influential, and being around it a lot. I mean, you're around a guy like Chris Garver who can just draw anything in a second, without sketching. It's humbling and it's motivating at the same time, Learning how to tattoo, you don't get paid. I've tried to keep that fire, that work ethic throughout my tattoo career. I did all these different jobs that taught me work ethic.
Especially when he worked as a beekeeper, which was so odd to me. We're in high school and he's doing something with bees. I still, to this day, have no idea what he did. I just know he put on a suit and tried not to get stung.
So that work ethic transferred into tattooing, and I've always tried to keep that with this wonderful career of tattooing. You could teach a person to draw and tattoo. You can't teach a person to be a good person.
Luke has a lot of morals, a lot of class. He's a gentleman. He's got a lot of soul. You don't see too many people like that nowadays,
I would really like to do artwork for some companies, some bigger brands, and really have my artwork on a bigger scale out there.
I'm in the apparel industry. I'm working on a project called Revin. I constantly ask Luke for his input. I'm learning off of him and he's learning off of me, and we're constantly, growing together and, trying to build each other up. While I was learning this in the classroom, Luke was learning it hands-on, apprenticing, and he speaks not only with words but with his art.
We feed off of each other and really have like a mutual respect for each other. So I think that started when we were kids and it's still going on now, 100%.
Luke is cool as shit and can tattoo his ass off. It's the entire package.
I think Luke's got a lot more to show people in the future.
To be tattooed by anybody is a big deal. To be tattooed by somebody with history is a big deal. But to be tattooed by somebody who's been like the closest thing you have as a friend for like 15 years, and then he does this tattoo on you, it's like I am right now, it's like an emotional experience.
I got self-made on my knuckles just to signify my life, man. I came from close to poverty, just kind of living in tents and, coming from nothing to where I am now. Everything I've made to this point is self-made, and that's how I will continue to do it. I just try to see art in everything and pull it from everywhere without disrespecting anybody.
The Helen Keller School of Corpse Disposal opened the doors back in '94, and that's all I can say about that. Cleaned up my act and got a real job.